that coming. The Tennessee Titans, the number 6 seed in the AFC, last week in the wild card round, they walk into New England. They beat the champions, the New England Patriots. Some people called that. Some people didn't call that. Fair enough. Okay, some people are saying they ended a dynasty. Well, this week, there's no way. You know, it was all nice and everything. Everybody was excited that they eliminated the New England Patriots, the almighty New England Patriots. But nobody in their right mind saw the Tennessee Titans, of all teams, beating the Baltimore Ravens, the number 1 seed, the team that was favored to win the Super Bowl. The team walk into Baltimore, and not only did they beat Baltimore, but they out-Baltimored Baltimore in Baltimore. And what do I mean by that? Well, they walked into Baltimore. They out-hit Baltimore. They outran Baltimore. They outplayed Baltimore at what the Ravens do. The Ravens run the ball. The Ravens stop the run. The Ravens are physical. The Ravens are intimidating. The Tennessee Titans were a better Baltimore Ravens than the Baltimore Ravens. They executed better from start to finish. They forced the other team to make mistakes. They came up with huge stops when they needed to defensively on short yardage plays, where the Ravens have been absolutely unbelievable in that facet of the game. The Tennessee Titans, you can stop sleeping now. They're legit. They're legit. When a coach says that he will cut his own manhood off to win a Super Bowl, you must believe that man. Mike Vrabel is on a mission. Dean Pease versus his former team. The best game plan we've seen all year by a defensive coach. Taking out and taking away Lamar Jackson's ability to run the football in his designed runs. Stopping the best rushing attack in NFL history during a regular season. Dean Pease is that man. Give him credit. Give John Robinson credit for his ability to build a team. Not a lot of people even know who that is. John Robinson, the GM of the Titans. This started a couple years ago. He built a team. He brought in some guys that knew how to win. He brought in Logan Ryan, right? They had Jarrell Casey up front. They brought some young studs in from good programs. Like Evans, for example. Landry, for example. Wesley Woodyard, a veteran. Bring him in there. The Titans defense, a lot of credit. It might be a no-name defense. But Dean Pease, Mike Vrabel, they coached them up and they had a huge performance. Offensively, we know Marcus Mariota might be a little bit of a problem, okay? Well, let's bring in Ryan Tannehill. We think we can coach him up and we can do better with him. Derrick Henry, he is a problem. We're going to draft Derrick Henry, and I will say, I have been the guy that said for a long time, I'm not a huge Derrick Henry guy. I've always said, I never thought Derrick Henry was going to be this special. I was wrong. I'll admit it. I was wrong about Derrick Henry because he is something different, right? Everybody was saying into this game, Lamar Jackson, he's just different. You're not used to playing Lamar Jackson until you play Lamar Jackson. Well, how about you're not used to playing Derrick Henry until you play Derrick Henry? How about that? How about that? The drafting of A.J. Brown. The offensive line, again, with an awesome performance. Outperforming the best offensive line this year, arguably. The Titans, how many Pro Bowlers did the Titans have? 1? They beat a team with 12 Pro Bowlers. Proving again that playoff football is about the big boys. That playoff football is about toughness. That playoff football is about physical and mental toughness. That's what the playoffs is about. And the playoffs is about being better prepared than the other, and the playoffs is about out-executing the other, no matter how good you think you are. Coming in and out-executing the other team. Outplaying the other team. It doesn't matter if you're undefeated, if you're the number 1 seed, if you're at home, if you're the MVP. It matters who plays better on that day, and the Titans played better today. As it says in the title, I will restate it. The Tennessee Titans out-Baltimored Baltimore in Baltimore. Derrick Henry used Earl Thomas as a lead blocker. Earl Thomas talking all his stuff about, the Patriots didn't want to tackle Derrick Henry. Where were you at, Earl Thomas? All that talk. Earl Thomas said earlier this season, no matter who we play in the Super Bowl, they better be scared. You didn't make it to the Super Bowl, sir. You're not there. You're not going to Miami. And now the guy, Ryan Tannehill, who played for Miami, might be going to bring his other team to Miami. They got to wait. It's going to be a tough game no matter who they play. Of course, they've had some tough moments versus the Texans. They beat the Chiefs, but that's not going to be easy whatsoever. That's going to be a great game if they end up playing the Chiefs. I'm shocked a little bit. But the funny thing is, I'm shocked, but I'm not shocked, right? I mean, if you watch my preview, I said all the points that needed to happen for the Titans to win. And it happened. It just so happened that it happened. The things that we didn't think would happen, that were logical, that could have happened, happened. What was I saying all year about the Ravens? I was saying they can't win when you get a lead on them. And the reason being is because the Ravens are not built that way. And credit to the Ravens, they had an incredible season. But I said this all year long, and you guys can go back and check the tape. It took a team like the Titans, and the Titans executed this game plan perfectly and beautifully. They got the lead early. They forced Lamar Jackson to throw the football to weapons that are not spectacular down the field because they were down in the football game and couldn't just run the ball. And what that also does is defensive football. The Ravens have been weak versus the run all year. Nobody's talked about that. Derrick Henry, the Titans, they took advantage to the fullest, having even more success than they did versus New England on the ground. And actually, they scored just as many points as they scored versus New England's defense within the first quarter of this game. And all the talk was how the Ravens' defense has been the best since week whatever. The Titans go out there, they lay the smack down, as The Rock would say. The Titans took it to the Ravens, and the Ravens were not able to adjust. The Ravens were rattled. The Ravens were not used to playing from behind. They were not used to being in an uncomfortable situation. And you know what? I don't think Lamar Jackson played all that bad. He tried his best. But every team has a weakness, right? Every NFL team has a weakness. The Ravens' weakness happened to be their run defense. The Ravens' weakness happened to be throwing the football. Because let's be honest. The Ravens don't have any receivers. The Ravens don't have any targets that you're scared of. And it's not like the Titans have a spectacular secondary. Are they very smart? Are they well coached? Yes. Did they play a very good game? Yes, they did. But outside of Marquise Brown, who did make his fair share of plays, nobody stood up and made any plays for the Ravens today outside of Lamar Jackson offensively. Their offensive line was not great. Their receivers were not great outside of Marquise Brown, who made a couple nice catches. The Titans, Derrick Henry still stood up and played well. A.J. Brown made plays. Jonnu Smith made one of the best catches I've ever seen in my entire life. Their guys made plays. Their playmakers made more plays than the Ravens made plays. It's shocking. But this playoffs has been all about the shock. All about the shock. This was a fun game to watch because it put in perspective teams have weaknesses. And when it comes to the playoffs, it's all about matchups. And when you find the right matchup and you're a team like the Titans who just so happen to be able to take advantage of the Patriots' weakness and just so happen to take advantage of the Ravens' weakness 2 weeks in a row, you're sitting in perfect position to be a team that can make a run. That's usually the case with these teams, these 6 seeds that make runs. Whether it was the Ravens back in the day, or the Giants, or the Steelers. Teams that perfectly matched up with these number 1 top seeds, and they took it to them. And you also have to wonder, was rust a factor in this game? Was Baltimore, they'd taken off their feet early on, and they weren't able to recover. And a lot of times with these number 1 seeds, if you've been an athlete, you've been on a good team before, and you're playing a team that you know you should beat, a lot of times it's a lot easier to be that team that's an underdog. A lot easier to be that team that has no chance to win, right? That's the double-digit underdog. It's a lot easier to be that team because the world doesn't expect you to win. But when you're the Ravens, you're coming in here and you're like, we're the Ravens. We don't need to do much. We just need to be the Ravens. And we'll win. We'll walk on the field. We don't need to do anything special. We're going to win. The Tennessee Titans, Mike Vrabel, I credit him 110%. This guy has been a spectacular coach since day one for the Titans. He has really done a few things that I talked about just over the past week about the new hiring of head coaches. And is Mike Vrabel Kyle Shanahan in terms of his play calling? No. Is he even a great defensive schematic genius? No. What Mike Vrabel has done is he has created an entire belief within an organization. His players believe in him. The organization believes in him. He motivates his players. He gets the best out of his players. And he has built a culture for the Tennessee Titans. A culture of winning. It's not always about being the best play caller. It's not always about being the genius in the room. Sometimes it's just about leading your players the best. And Mike Vrabel versus a very good coach, John Harbaugh. I have a ton of respect for John Harbaugh and what he has done. He outcoached John Harbaugh today, 110%. Not only did he outcoach Mike Vrabel, he outcoached Bill Belichick just last week. And Dean Pease outcoached the guy on the other sideline in Martindale who was getting all the head coaching offers. Dean Pease stuck it to Martindale. And give credit to Arthur Smith. Who, you ask? The offensive coordinator of the Tennessee Titans. Give him credit. He deserves big props. Because, I didn't even barely know who this guy was coming in the year. And what has he done except be the best offensive coordinator after the last half of this season? He has performed better than Matt LaFleur, who is a head coach now in the NFL for the Green Bay Packers. And honestly, should people be interviewing this guy? He's not really doing anything sexy, but he is doing what he should do to get this team in the right position. And some of his play calling, the plays aren't super sexy. You don't see the double fake. You don't see the fake receiver, fake running back screen. You don't see the play action screen. You don't see all this sexiness out there. But what you do see is you see perfect play calling sequencing. You see, okay, we've been running this same play over and over, and we're having success. So what are we going to do? Well, we're going to hit a deep bomb down the field to our wide receiver Raymond. They're never going to expect this because we've been hitting this same run over and over to the left. But when we pull it the one time to the play action, and Raymond's going to be open because we get the right call, we get the right defense, this is going to be a touchdown. And that's exactly what Arthur Smith has been doing. It's not just been the play calling, the sexiness of it. It's been the sequencing of it that's been so impressive from him. Let's take a look at the stats. Guys, if you haven't already, make sure you do. Gronk spike the like button. Support the channel. Also, subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more NFL recaps. Just like this. And of course, if you're here live or after the fact, let me know your immediate reaction to the game. What did you think of the game? What is your opinion? Let me know. All right. 28-12. Who would have thought? Tennessee Titans over the Baltimore Ravens. Okay. Let's start off with the winning team, the Tennessee Titans. The Titans, Ryan Tannehill, 7 for 14, 88 yards and 2 touchdowns. Again, another extremely unimpressive stat line passing-wise from Ryan Tannehill. Now, in this game, he had 2 touchdowns. He was only sacked once. Want to give props to the offensive line, who I will say, last week versus New England, the best pass defense in the league. They blocked really well. Tannehill made enough plays to get them over the top. In this game, they played the number 2 pass defense in the NFL. What happened? Well, we knew Martindale was going to blitz, because that's what he likes to do. So, when he blitzed, the Titans, they blocked it up. Ryan Tannehill made them pay. What did Ryan Tannehill do really well in this game, though, in my opinion? Just those little plays, especially early in the game where he was able to scramble and make some plays by scrambling and getting first downs and just extending the drives, eating up the clock, making the Ravens defense pay for not paying attention to his legs, because that's an aspect to Tannehill that gets overlooked. Remember, this guy was a receiver in college, very dynamic runner when he wants to be. Ryan Tannehill, the stats don't look good. But this is an example of watching a football game and saying, you know what, Ryan Tannehill was really good in this game. 7 for 14, 88 yards, 2 touchdowns. Nobody's going to write this into the Hall of Fame. 109 passer rating, but he did play really well. He had 3 touchdowns on the day. He had a rushing touchdown. I thought Ryan Tannehill showed balls in this game. I thought Ryan Tannehill showed that he has heart, and he showed that he has leadership. I think all the questions that we've had about Ryan Tannehill in his ability to play in big games and big moments, Ryan Tannehill is typically a very quiet guy. He's not really outspoken. He's not going to get in your face. He's not cocky. But what Ryan Tannehill has shown over these past 2 games is even though he is not a primary focus of the game plan, he's able to step up and be that guy when he needs to be. And really, I know that people are going to say, Ryan Tannehill's been carried thus far. It's really hard to be a quarterback when you're only throwing the football 14 times. Ask any quarterback. Katana with the $5 donation says, 2 more games, tighten up. I'm happy for you, Katana. That's awesome. You've been here for a long time on the Bottom Line View, supporting the channel. One of the top super chatters. I appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the $5, and I hope your team does great next week. But about Tannehill, it's really difficult to be a guy that only throws 14 passes. To be able to step up in those big situations on 3rd and long and have to execute, that's sometimes the most difficult thing to do. A lot of quarterbacks would rather be the guy to throw 40 times because at least they get a rhythm going. Tannehill, he doesn't get the chance for that. Now, Derrick Henry threw a touchdown as well. I will say, I thought that was the dumbest, best call of all time. That call was bold as you know what. Because I think if that play wasn't a touchdown, it was an interception. That play was the worst, best call of these playoffs so far. Crazy. That was a crazy call. But I got to credit the balls on Vrabel and Arthur Smith to make that call. All right, rushing-wise, I know the man that we're all going to be speaking about is the tank himself, Derrick Henry. 30 rushes for 195 yards, a 6.5 yards per carry. Unbelievable. 2 catches for 7 yards. This man is a man among boys. This guy is like Earl Campbell 2.0. This guy is ridiculous. I don't know what to say. I don't know what to say about Derrick Henry. That has not already been said. The guy is a freak of nature. He is in this era. You know how everybody says, you know, like if this guy played in this era, he would be so much better? I feel like Derrick Henry in this era is actually better than if Derrick Henry played like 10 years ago. Do you know why that is? Because defenses are different nowadays. Katana with another 5 yards by Derrick Henry. $5 donation. He says, I literally went outside and screamed like a madman when the Titans won tonight. Congrats, Katana. Congrats, buddy. But back to Derrick Henry. 10 years ago, I feel like defenses were more prepared, more equipped to stop a big dude like Derrick Henry. And it just so shows that, I mean, what happened last year? Who was it? I don't want to keep saying, bringing up the Patriots. I hate to do this, but with as much success that they've had over so many years, you would think teams would try and replicate it, right? Well, what did they do last year in the playoffs? They ran the football. They had a fullback. They ran it, and they didn't have Derrick Henry. They had Sony Michel, right? But they had a good offensive line. They ran the football. They played smart defense. They took care of the football. And that's what they did in the playoffs. That's how they were able to beat the Chiefs. That's how they were able to beat the Chargers. That's how they were able to beat the Rams. And that's what the Titans are doing. And it's no coincidence that Vrabel and Pease have both worked in New England before. It's no coincidence that Robinson worked in New England, and he built a team to do this. And it's no coincidence that Derrick Henry is a man among boys. Because when teams are wanting to play more defensive backs in this day and age because they think you're going to pass and it's a pass-heavy league, when you put a big running back out there that's bigger than everybody on the field almost, other than your defensive tackles, it makes it difficult. Derrick Henry looks like Jim Brown playing against the guys in the 60s and the 50s. That's what he looks like. He's a beast, man. He's a beast. And I credit the Titans, because not a lot of teams would be willing to throw the ball 14 times nowadays. It's just facts. Not a lot of people would be willing to do that. Receiving wise, Raymond had a catch for 45 yards and a touchdown. That was the big play I talked about earlier. The play action play. Corey Davis had a touchdown. That was the jump pass by Derrick Henry. Jonnu Smith. Talk about a play. I mean, if Jonnu Smith doesn't make that catch, did the Titans go out to this lead and end up winning this game? Thank you for the $1, by the way, Imagine Madden. I appreciate it. If Jonnu Smith doesn't make that ridiculous Randy Moss-like catch, do you think this happens? I don't know. Like, that's one of those plays where you go from believing it can happen, preparing yourself to get it to happen, and then actually seeing it. Right? Sometimes you need to see it before you can believe it. That's the classic saying. Jonnu. January Jonnu, says Robot. Yeah. Damn right I could tackle John Cena. He has no agility. Defensively, Jurrell Casey played like a monster. And big reason I went with the we had a Who's Better video this week, Titans, Ravens. Big reason I went with the interior defensive line of the Titans, Jurrell Casey. One of the most underrated players in football for the past 5 years. Maybe more than that. I mean, he was a stud in this game, pushing the pocket back, getting in the face of Lamar Jackson, making plays, 2 tackles, a forced fumble. Wesley Woodyard. I feel good, great for him. I feel, I'm so happy for, Logan Ryan, man. Logan Ryan, smart dude, versatile DB, slot, outside, making plays. Led the team in tackles. Logan Ryan. Kenny Vaccaro, second interception of this season, first of the playoffs, 5 tackles. Vaccaro had a big role in this game to stop Lamar Jackson. Tremaine Brock, who they signed off the streets during the middle of the season, played a great game in coverage. Daquan Jones, doesn't show up on the stat sheet, had a good game in the middle of that defense stopping the run. Kevin Byard with the big pick, just nose for the football early on. I can't give enough credit to the Titans defense. They played spectacular. See, the thing is, I believed that the Titans could do what they did offensively, but I needed to see that they were able to do this on defense. And I give everybody credit. And this is without guys like Cameron Wake, and this is without guys like Malcolm Butler, who were 2 key pieces coming into the season. And they were able to do this versus the number 1 offense in the league. Harold Landry, continuing to prove me right, because I love that guy coming from the draft. Adoree Jackson, playing injured, had a great game. Rashaan Evans with 6 tackles on the edge. Huge! Spying Lamar Jackson. Jeffrey Simmons with a fumble recovery. Great game from the defense. And Brown didn't even play, Isaiah. He didn't even play. And he's coming back next week. He's good. They're going to need him next week. Versus probably the Chiefs. But we'll see. Baltimore. Lamar Jackson. I mean, the guy had 500 yards. The guy totaled 500 yards. I don't think he played bad. The first interception was unlucky. Second interception, he sort of forced it. But they were down in the game. I think more of what we saw today was not Lamar Jackson. I think more of what we saw today was that he didn't have enough receivers. And that was always the weakness of the Ravens, but it never showed up because they never had to play from behind all season. And in this game, they did. And the Titans, you have to credit their DBs for, as Kevin Durant would say, bagging the receivers of the Ravens. I mean, Willie Snead played like poop. 6 catches, 56 yards. Seth Roberts played like poop. Mark Andrews, 4 catches, 39 yards. Had a horrible game. Hayden Hurst, 4 for 53 and a touchdown. Miles Boykin, 3 for 26. Justice Hill, 4 for 26. The only guy I could say played well is Marquise Brown. 7 for 126. He had a good game. Rushing-wise, they did nothing. They only ran the ball with the running back 9 times. And I want to say out of Lamar's 20 runs, 13 of them were scrambles. I mean, he scrambled a lot. He scrambled a lot in today's game. And Lamar, early in the game, looked rusty. He looked rusty. He was throwing the ball high a little bit. But I don't want to blame this one on Lamar. Isaiah with 199 says, I'm an OG Titans fan. We making Steve McNair proud. Congratulations, Isaiah. Congratulations to all Titans fans. Titans haven't had a great team in a long time. I mean, since 1999, really. You know, they had that disappointing season in 2009 where they lost to the Ravens, I believe. Really, you haven't had a lot of teams where you could legitimately go to the Super Bowl. So, congratulations. I hope you guys do well next week. Defensively, Earl Thomas with all the talk. He couldn't cover. He couldn't tackle. He sucked. Give credit to the DBs of the Ravens. I don't think they played a bad game. I think Marcus Peters played well. I think Marlon Humphrey played well. Everyone else, though, I mean, you got ran over. You said you wanted to take on Derrick Henry. You didn't stand up like men like you said you would. You were talking all this crap about Patriots, and you guys couldn't tackle. We're different. We're different, says Earl Thomas. I guess you're not different. You're normal. You're the same. In fact, you're worse. Derrick Henry was the best Heisman on the field, says Deplorable Joker. 28-12 Titans. They win it over the number 1 seed, Baltimore Ravens. Guys, I'm going to get to the comments now. 92 people in the chat. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. If you're new and just tuning in. Gronk spiked the like button if you haven't already. Show the support for the channel. Also, guys, very important that when you do subscribe, or if you are subscribed and you haven't hit the notification bell, please do hit the notification bell because you get the latest upload right away to your phone as a notification or to your laptop if you have notifications on. That's a big deal because sometimes YouTube sucks and doesn't give you the notification. So make sure you do hit that notification bell. All right, guys. Any questions you have about this game or about today's games, let me know in the comments. We'll get to comments. Raymond is in the chat. Isaiah is in the chat. Kevin says Earl Thomas needs to retire before Brady does. Earl Thomas did not look good. Golden Rooster says Titans defense was great. Pressured Lamar left and right. That's one of the surprises of this game. Good point. They have not been known as a pass rushing team, but they definitely got after Lamar today. Justin says, oh no, now these Patriots fans talking. That's what we do. Achilles says, my pick is the Packers over Chiefs. Loaded says Chiefs going to take it all this season. I did pick them before the playoffs, so I'd be happy to be right. But we'll see. They got to win tomorrow. I will say this. I saw a lot of tweets during the game of people like, Chiefs are all happy, like videos of like Chiefs fans. Oh, look at Chiefs fans now. They're all happy because the Ravens are gone. That doesn't make sense. Did you guys not watch the season this year? Okay, do I have to describe it to you? Okay, well, the Chiefs, first off, Chiefs lost to the Titans during the season. Chiefs beat the Ravens. Chiefs also lost to the Texans. So the only team they beat was the Ravens. They're now eliminated. Of the teams that are still in the playoffs, they lost. I'm just saying. I just don't get the whole Twitter right now. You can repost it, Crow. I'm not going to go all the way up there to check it. Sorry. Earl Thomas in his prime, in my opinion. Eric Berry was great, though. Baltimore's meltdown reminds me of the Panthers' meltdown at Super Bowl 50. Except, Hugo, this wasn't in the Super Bowl. This was in the Divisional Round. You know what I was also thinking about? I put into perspective how awesome Cam was in that year during this game. I was thinking about that. Because everybody was always comparing the Ravens to the Panthers in 2015. And what I'm saying for this game is the reason why the Panthers weren't able to win that Super Bowl either. I mean, Cam had no receivers. Everybody forgot about that. Ravens didn't have any receivers. Same thing here. But Cam at least got to the Super Bowl. I was wrong about Derrick Henry, and I will admit it. What's up, Speedy? Ducky in Bath says Lamar ain't clutch. Yeah, the Texans weren't playing anybody, though. Raymond says, who do you guys got for the Madden cover? It's probably Lamar or Derrick Henry. Dream Key says, you think resting their starters in Week 17 mattered? No, I don't. I would have done the same thing. And teams have won the Super Bowl doing that as well. Kevin Durkant says the Texans would beat the Titans. The raging majority says Ravens had better receivers than the Patriots did. Lamar doesn't have the ability to throw to receivers all year. It's been running and passing to tight ends. I guess. But I don't think the Ravens had better receivers than the Patriots. I think it's pretty comparable. Also, that's not Lamar's game. That is Brady's game. Tevin Coleman had a big game today. Yep. And all of a sudden, Kevin Durkant likes him again. Party says that's why you don't base it off the regular season. My Super Bowl pick was the Chiefs. But the Titans look legit, man. And the 49ers look great, too. Hypebeast says Titans versus 49ers would be an interesting Super Bowl. I would love to see that. Loaded Ron says, so we counting the Chiefs out? I don't know. Ask the chat. Everybody's counting the Chiefs out in the chat. What round should the Ravens take a quarterback? None of the rounds. Mike Vrabel, I'm happy for him. For sure. Ronnie says, we can go anywhere, we can play anybody, and physically beat MFers up. And Ronnie, that's exactly why the title is out Baltimoring in Baltimore. What has Baltimore been known for, Ronnie? Defense, beating people up. Offense, running the ball, beating people up. Over the years, not just this year. The Ravens have been known to be the 6th seed to make runs. Not the Titans. Henry deserves the contract Zeke got. The question is, how long can Henry go with carrying the football 30 plus times? The guy is an animal. Nobody can keep up offensive output after a historic season. Peyton didn't do it. Brady didn't do it. Marino didn't do it. Breeze didn't do it. Lamar isn't going to do it. Mahomes didn't do it. Nobody does it. So please don't say that Lamar is not as good, whatever, because he didn't do it. It's just not going to happen because it's called a historic season for a reason. Historic seasons don't happen every season. Loden Ron said never seen so many Titans fans all of a sudden. The Chiefs did have Patrick Mahomes. You're mistaken. I remember watching the game. Kevin says he can't see the Titans beating the Chiefs or the Texans with less than 100 passing yards. I mean, that's what we said this week, though. Can we count on that, though? Maybe not the Texans, because the Texans know them very well. But, I mean, I could see it versus the Chiefs. I could see it. Even though I don't think you can count on stopping the Chiefs the way you stopped the Ravens. I will say that, because that Patrick Mahomes, I'm telling you. Mitch, who do you think is the weakest remaining team in the playoffs? Seahawks. Talent-wise, yes. Metal says, I'm not a Titan fan. I'm a Patriots fan, but I'm glad the Titans won and wouldn't mind seeing them go to the Super Bowl. Did you see Tajay Sharp interview where he mocked Mark Ingram by saying... Oh, no, he didn't. Did he actually? Did he do anything in this game? Tajay Sharp? I don't think it's a good idea to put Mariota out there. I think their offense is actually less successful when they have Mariota on the field. It's just my opinion, though. Because everyone knows what's coming. Yes, Golden Rooster is correct. Chiefs have receivers and weapons unlike the Ravens. That is correct. Hype Beast says 49ers have the best chance of stopping Henry. Maybe. Whenever the Texans beat the Titans don't have Henry, says Ugly. Who's going to cover Tyreek? I would expect it to be a Dory Jackson. I'm sure they would have a plan for him. Won't be easy, but... Travis says Ravens are overrated garbage. Phil, if I knew, I'd tell you. I think it basically means like trust the process. I don't know, trust in your teammates, something like that. Titans are looking like the '07 Giants. A little bit. Wow. Mean to Kevin or can't. All right. I think I'm done for the recap. think I'm done. Guys, it's been a good one. If you haven't already, Gronk spike the like button. Subscribe to the Bottom Line View for more. Let's get these graphics up. Gronk spike it. Subscribe to the Bottom Line View. We're gonna have recaps tomorrow for the games. Yes, I think I'm gonna do a recap for. I think I'm gonna do a recap for both games. We'll have to see. Probably after the last game, which I believe is Packers Seahawks, I'll do a recap about both games tomorrow. I think that's what I'm gonna do. All right, guys, it's been a good one. Thank you for joining me here. It's been Mitch. Enjoy tomorrow's games. Congratulations to the Titans. Congratulations to Titans fans. We'll see you tomorrow. Peace.